Part 2 of Real Estate Matters. I am your host and realtor, Doreen Morris, Century 21 Heath Hope Properties. We will continue from where we left off from last week's episode. So can a bad credit score affect me from purchasing a home?
So, where we sit as a bureau, we can't say that it will.
Right.
But what it will do is it will allow the lender will have to make some adjustments if they have a bad credit score.
Right.
So these are internal policies that the lenders put in place to determine if they will lend to somebody with a score of less than 500, because that's a high risk person.
Less than 500.
Right. So, no, but they maybe have a higher risk than somebody over 600, right? So it goes from very high risk to very low risk.
Right.
But as I said, 600 is a good score. But denial of credit is that's not our business. What we're doing is just informing the lender of the risk of the individual looking to borrow, and as such, their own internal policies and come in place to determine if they want to lend to that individual.
All right, I have a question for you, John.
Mm-hmm.
What if I obtain a loan from a financial institution and I clear the loan, and let's say I want to purchase a home now, and the mortgage officer is telling me that they cannot facilitate the mortgage because I have an outstanding loan with, let's say, a financial institution for over 5 years. I clear the loan, but it's still on the report.
Mm-hmm.
How do I deal with that?
Alright, so there are cases where you would have closed a loan and then the information reported to the bureau says that it is still open. What we do is we have a dispute process in place. By law, it should take no more than 14 days, but we have tried to accelerate that process because the typical behavior in Jamaica is that when you access a credit report is because you're in front of a loan officer.
Okay.
So you want the facility now or very soon. So there's a process where we will produce the report, we look at the contract that is closed but it's stated as open, and we'll reach out to the institution on your behalf and have it rectified, and once rectified, your credit report will be updated and shared with the institution in which you're looking to borrow.
And how long that will take?
By law, it's 14 days. We have seen it happening within 24 hours depending on the nature of the investigation required, but by law, we give them 14 days to rectify the information.
Awesome. So alright, we notice when we watch cable and stuff, you hear they say that the bad credit stays on the report for 7 years.
Right.
That's in the US and the UK. What about Jamaica?
So we keep credit history for up to 7 years as
well.
Right.
Okay.
Even if you have bad credit and you clear the loan, there was a time in your history you had bad behavior, and as such it has to be recorded. The more recent the behavior is, the heavier it weighs on your score. So as you start to pay in a positive way, and months pass on, and the bad behavior moves down the line in terms of years, then it won't weigh as heavy, but it stays on your report for up to 7 years.
So John, you're saying on year 8. All of that is gone. I have a fresh credit starting now.
So what it is not, it hasn't technically disappeared. There's a residue of the loan, because if it's a mortgage that's 30 years, then it's what we're looking at is 7 years worth of payments on a mortgage. Right. So if in the 8th year that bad behavior on that existing loan, the mortgage would now disappear, but you still have your mortgage into perpetuity. No, not perpetuity. You still have your mortgage up until the time of closure. So the loan doesn't disappear, but that bad history now will go.
Alright, so in the case of a car, so my car loan is saved for 7 years and I finished now, but I paid bad. So my 8th year, is my bad credit still showing on my report?
If the bad credit happened in the early days of the loan, then yes, it would have aged off automatically. But if not, then it will keep on going until it has aged off for your report.
Oh, wow.
So remember, the purpose of the history is to ensure that the lender doesn't rely only on the score, but can say, okay, Doreen has had positive behavior in payments and we like her. I'm going to extend credit to her, and it might be that you haven't. And even though you have a good score, you have had history of bad payments. However rectified, that's all on you and the institution, but you need to see the history.
Okay. Understand. How do I redeem a bad credit?
So there are many ways to redeem bad credit. The recommendation is that you start to pay as your obligations would have been.
Right.
That's the main thing. The next thing is that check your credit report, because you might not know what your credit score is, and it might be a case that you have open contracts that have been closed, and when they're open, they do affect your credit score and your credit report. So we'll always recommend that you check your credit score and credit report at least once a year.
Once per year.
You're entitled to one free credit report per calendar year. So when the start of the year, you check your credit, you see what institutions are reporting on you, and where there's an issue, you go through the dispute process to have it rectified. But the main thing to rectify credit is just start paying, as he would have signed with the obligation and terms with the institution.
And what is the cost? There is a cost associated?
So the first one is free,
right?
And then any report after that is $1,000.
It's $1,000.
Plus taxes.
And I guess this would be for the financial institution. If they pay it, or I would have to pay.
So every institution, they have their own channel for payment. Sometimes it's borne by the customer,
right?
And sometimes they handle the payment or the retrieval of the credit report. So it all depends on the institution itself.
Okay. So John, advise my audience. Give them some advice.
Give them some advice. So I mentioned it earlier. Always check your credit score, your credit report. You're entitled to one free credit report per calendar year. So when you plan to start your financial dreams and planning, know your credit. You don't want to check your credit as at the point of trying to get a loan, because in the event that it is not clear or accurate, you have to go through a dispute process. Okay. And that might take some time depending on the nature of the disputes. Pay on time and pay the amounts that are required. Right, so paying on time is one thing.
But paying the amount that is required, right. Not less. It's best you owe more. More or
just
or the exact amount.
The exact amount. And you can visit our website at jm.creditinfo.com. Click on free credit reports, go through the process. It doesn't take you more than 5 minutes. The report is emailed to you within 24 hours. Depending on the time of day, you can get it same day.
Oh, nice.
And then if you have a dispute on the report, reach out to us and we'll definitely assist you in getting whatever information that is inaccurate rectified.
Thank you so much, John. That was a wealth of knowledge.
No problem.
So we have come to the end of this week's episode of Real Estate Matters. I am Doreen Morris, your host and realtor from Century 21 Hevo Properties. Please feel free to leave your comment, or you can direct message me or call me at 876-997-6570. Stay tuned.